Good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Before we begin the bulletin, Rajya Sabha TV appeals to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash hands and face regularly, and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic, which is not over yet. And now let's get you the headlines. Prime Minister Modi dedicates new Bhaupur, New Khurja section of Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor to the nation. Inaugurates control center in Prayagraj. Traders, farmers and consumers to benefit. Keep infrastructure development above politics, says Prime Minister Modi. Condemns damage to government property in the name of protests. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu urges youth to develop scientific temperament, emphasizes that ultimate goal of science is to make people's lives comfortable and happy. Six UK return passengers test positive for new strain of coronavirus. The Union Health Ministry calls for vigilance, says vaccine will be effective on the new mutation. And the next round of talks between government and farmers on the new agricultural laws tomorrow. Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar expresses hope of finding a solution. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday flagged off the new Bhaupur, New Khurja section and the Operational Control Center of Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor in Uttar Pradesh. He termed the corridor as the biggest and the most important rail project since independence. Here's a report. The new Bhaupur, New Khurja section of the Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor, intended to open up new economic opportunities and boost employment opportunities. Dedicating the corridor to the nation on Tuesday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said it will become a medium of Atmanirbhar Bharat and help the Kisan rails.
बीते 6 सालों से भारत में आधुनिक कनेक्टिविटी के हर पहलू पर फोकस के साथ काम किया जा रहा है। हाईवे हो, रेलवे हो, एयरवे हो, वाटरवे हो या फिर हाईवे, आर्थिक रफ्तार के लिए जरूरी इन पांचों पहियों को ताकत दी जा रही है, गति दी जा रही है। ईस्टर्न डेडिकेटेड फ्रेट कॉरिडोर, इसके एक बड़े सेक्शन का लोकार्पण भी इसी दिशा में बहुत बड़ा कदम है।
The Prime Minister said his government had always focused on infrastructural development for the nation's growth. He hoped that dedicated freight corridors will lessen passenger train delays.
मालगाड़ियां जब समय पर पहुंचती और पहुंचेगी तो हमारा लॉजिस्टिक नेटवर्क सस्ता होता जाएगा। हमारा सामान पहुंचाने का जो खर्च है वो कम होने के कारण सामान सस्ता होगा, जिसका हमारे निर्यात को लाभ होगा। यही नहीं, देश में उद्योग के लिए बेहतर माहौल बनेगा, ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस बढ़ेगी, निवेश के लिए भारत और आकर्षक बनेगा। देश में रोजगार के, स्वरोजगार के अनेक नए अवसर भी तैयार होंगे।
The Prime Minister blamed previous governments for delaying the corridor project. He suggested that infrastructure development be kept away from politics.
साल 2006 में इस प्रोजेक्ट को मंजूरी दी गई थी। उसके बाद ये सिर्फ कागजों और फाइलों में ही बनता रहा। केंद्र को राज्यों के साथ जिस गंभीरता से बातचीत करनी चाहिए थी, जिस अर्जेंसी से संवाद होना चाहिए था, वो किया ही नहीं गया। नतीजा ये हुआ कि काम अटक गया, लटक गया, भटक गया। स्थिति ये थी कि साल 2014 तक 1 किलोमीटर ट्रैक भी नहीं बिछा गया, 1 किलोमीटर भी नहीं। जो इसके लिए पैसा भी स्वीकृत हुआ था, वो सही तरीके से खर्च नहीं हो पाया।
The Prime Minister also inaugurated the Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor's Operation Control Center at Prayagraj and flagged off the first 1.5 kilometer long goods trains. The 351 kilometer section, built at a cost of 5,750 crore rupees, will open new avenues for local industries in Uttar Pradesh. The section will decongest the existing Kanpur-Delhi main line and enable Indian Railways to run faster trains. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal was also present at the inauguration ceremony of the new Bhaupur-New Khurja section of Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor. Speaking on the occasion, he said that this dedicated freight corridor will open up new avenues of development. Listen in.
इस रूट में स्थापित उद्योग जैसे कानपुर और आगरा का चमड़ा, इटावा का ब्लॉक पेंटिंग, फिरोजाबाद का कांच, खुर्जा का पॉटरी, हाथरस का हींग और अलीगढ़ का ताला इत्यादि को अपना सामान कम समय में और अधिक मात्रा में पोर्ट तक भी भेजने की सुविधा होगी, जिससे वो निर्यात में भी इन विषयों को, इन वस्तुओं को भेज सके, विश्व स्तरीय हमारे उद्योग अपनी छाप पहुंचा सके।
Moving on, the centre has invited representatives of 40 farmers' unions protesting against the new farm laws for the next round of talks on Wednesday. Now, this will be the 6th round of talks between the government and the farmers to find a solution to the current impasse over the 3 new farm laws. The government has reiterated that it is committed to find a logical solution on all relevant issues raised by the farmers with a clear intention and an open mind. The last formal meeting took place on the 5th of December between the centre and the farmers' leaders. The year 2020 was marked by many landmarks for the functioning of the Rajya Sabha due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The year also saw the annual productivity of the upper house at 82.27%, the highest annual productivity in the last 11 years since 2010. In a year impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, Rajya Sabha held the budget and the monsoon sessions. The upper house had 33 sittings in both sessions combined. However, each session lost 8 sittings due to the pandemic. The budget session had 23 sittings as against a scheduled 31. The monsoon session was held for 10 sittings against the scheduled 18. The upper house could not have the winter session on account of the pandemic situation. During the year, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu made references to the consistently higher levels of productivity in the upper house in the last few sessions. He said the trend indicates that the ship of Rajya Sabha sailing through stormy waters has been steadied. Regular monitoring by the chairman also led to an improvement in the average attendance at the meetings of the 8 department-related Parliament standing committees. For the first time, attendance crossed 50% of the total membership of each committee. The Rajya Sabha passed 39 bills in 2020. 12 were passed in the budget session, while 27 were passed in the monsoon session. The House spent a high 57% of its functional time on legislative work in the monsoon session. The general average is 28%. For the first time in its 69-year history, the upper house functioned from multiple locations. In the monsoon session, physical distancing norms led to members being seated in the chambers of the Lok Sabha and 4 galleries of Rajya Sabha as well. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu held extensive discussions with the Speaker of Lok Sabha and officials of the Rajya Sabha Secretariat for holding a flawless monsoon session. He also held 2 mock sessions of the Rajya Sabha for acquainting himself with the demands of the multi-locational functioning of the upper house.
Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called upon scientists and researchers in the country to work with ancient knowledge and modern technology to take the country forward. He said that the scientific community in the country has the valuable task of making India Atmanirbhar. Addressing the gathering at the Center for Research and Education in Science and Technology in Hoskote near Bengaluru, the Vice President congratulated the scientists and engineers of the country for their incredible work in developing major scientific facilities for the future generations.
It gives me great pleasure to inaugurate the facility that will fabricate optics for realization of this international endeavor. Participation in such mega scientific projects provides a level playing field for Indian scientists and help to the industries also build capacity in high technology field.
Speaking about his experience of visiting the CREST campus of the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, the Vice President noted that the campus was the finest example of our commitment to basic research and technology development for future generations, which he said will lay the foundation for an Atmanirbhar Bharat. He also lauded the plans of the institute to have a science center in the campus for spreading awareness of science and curiosity among children as well as the general public.
India's foray into such global and world-class national scientific ventures seems natural given its intellectual reserves and global status as an emerging economic and political power. India is being recognized and respected worldwide. It is important to inculcate scientific thinking in the younger generation. Institutes like this should be able to provide a platform for innovation and technological advancement.
And slipping into a short break here, more news and updates on the other side. Do stay with us.
Watch The Big Picture at 9:30 p.m. only on Rajya Sabha Television.
Rabindranath Tagore was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913 for his book Gitanjali. In 1950, he composed the music and lyrics for India's national anthem Jana Gana Mana. And when Bangladesh became independent in 1971, they chose Tagore's song Amar Shonar Bangla as its national anthem. Tagore's life and works have made him a cultural icon, studied the world over, even into the 21st century.
Defeat coronavirus. Let us always remember, wear a mask, wash hands, follow physical distancing. Together, we'll succeed. Together, we'll win against COVID-19.
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. Union Science and Technology Minister Dr. Harshvardhan inaugurated a meteorological center at Leh via video conferencing on Tuesday. Located at a height of 3,500 meters, the center at Leh will be the highest meteorological center in India. He said that the IMD will provide a range of weather forecast services through it. The minister also said it will provide short-range, medium-range and long-range forecasts for the two districts of Leh and Kargil of the Union Territory. Ladakh experiences various kinds of extreme weather events like cloud bursts, flash floods, glacial lake outbursts, avalanches and drought. And this center is going to help with the forecast of all these adverse weather events. Union Minister Hardip Singh Puri has said that there is a possibility of extension of the suspension of flights from the United Kingdom in order to contain the spread of the new variant of coronavirus that was first detected in that country. The announcement comes a day after 6 people who had recently returned to India from the UK were found positive for the new mutant strain of the coronavirus. The government has imposed a ban on flights coming to India from the UK. All flights originating from the UK to India have been suspended till the 31st of December 2020.
With a mandate as an announcement, I foresee a slight extension of the temporary suspension because we are getting the fuller picture of what has happened. I don't expect that extension to be a long or indefinite extension. I'm not going to put a figure on it, but the words I'm choosing will give you an idea. A slight extension, small extension of the temporary suspension.
According to the Union Health Ministry, 6 people who returned to India from the United Kingdom have tested positive for the new mutant strain of coronavirus. It is said that the UK variant genome of SARS-CoV-2 was detected in 3 samples at NIMHANS Bengaluru, 2 at CCMB Hyderabad, and 1 at the National Institute of Virology in Pune. All these people have been kept in separate isolation rooms at designated healthcare facilities. Their close contacts have also been put under quarantine. Meanwhile, contact tracing for co-travelers, family contacts and others have also been initiated. Genome sequencing on other samples is also being carried out. A total of 33,000 passengers have returned from the UK to India since the 25th of November to the 23rd of December. All these passengers are being tracked and tested through RT-PCR. Of them, 114 have so far been found COVID-19 positive. India has also suspended all passenger flights connecting the United Kingdom till the 31st of December in view of the new coronavirus variant. The government has initiated a proactive and preventive strategy to detect and contain the mutant variant of coronavirus from the UK. Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said the Indian SARS-CoV-2 Genomics Consortium is genome sequencing all positive samples of UK returnees. The National Centre for Disease Control is heading this group of 10 government laboratories that have released the initial results of the genome sequencing. More than 50 samples of UK returnees are currently under sequencing. Data obtained from them will be sent to NCDC for evaluation.
इंसाकॉग नाम की एक कंसोर्शियम की स्थापना की गई है। इसमें देश के 10 गवर्नमेंट लैब्स हैं। ये CSIR के लैब हैं, DBT के लैब हैं, ICMR के लैब हैं और स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय के लैब हैं। ये पहले से भी पिछले 11 महीने में देश में जो सार्स कोवी वायरस फैला हुआ है उसकी जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग किया करते थे। जब ये यूके से वेरिएंट वायरस की खबर आई तो फिर ये माना गया कि एक बड़ा कंसोर्शियम बनाया जाए और सब लोग मिलकर काम करें और बड़े पैमाने पर जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग की जाए।
Principal Scientific Advisor K. Vijay Raghavan has said the emerging COVID-19 vaccines will work against the new virus variants.
वैक्सीन्स जो हैं पाइपलाइन पे हमारे देश में और बाहर भी, ये इन वेरिएंट्स जो यूके में हैं और साउथ अफ्रीका में भी आए हैं, इनके अगेंस्ट काम करेगी। तो एक इम्पॉर्टेंट अश्योरेंस है कि इस स्टेट पे वैक्सीन्स के बारे में फिक्र करने की अभी ज़रूरत नहीं है। इंटरनेशनल ट्रैवलर्स जो आ रहे हैं, खासतौर से अभी यूके से लेकिन और जगह से भी, उनका भी टेस्टिंग हो रही है। इसको स्केल करके हमें पता चलता है कि इस वेरिएंट्स का क्या आ रहे हैं और कितने इंटेंसिटी से आ रहे हैं। ये भी ध्यान में रखना चाहिए, गिवन द वाइड स्प्रेड प्रेवलेंस ऑफ द वायरस ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड, that these kinds of variants which have arisen can also arise elsewhere. So we are also not only sequencing our population who have been tested positive by choosing representative samples, but we will also test them, these samples in the laboratory to see whether infectivity is increased and do field studies to see whether transmission of any specific variants are increased.
Niti Aayog member Dr. V.K. Paul has said the new virus strain is more transmissible but has so far not affected the severity of the disease. However, he urged people to remain vigilant and also continue to maintain COVID-appropriate behavior.
जैसे पहले हम वॉच कर रहे थे कि ये म्यूटेशंस हैं, ड्रिफ्ट हो रहा है, बदल रहा है स्वभाव इसका, उसको देख रहे थे. अब उसमें तेज गति लाई गई है विद अ स्पेशल फोकस ऑन द UK1 वेरिएंट. तो एक साइंस की रिस्पांस है. इसके अलावा ICMR ने फैसला किया है कि जिन पेशेंट्स में ये देखा जाएगा उसमें डिजीज की फॉर्म में कोई कमी है, कम सीरियस है, ज़्यादा सीरियस है, ये एस्पेक्ट देखा जाएगा. अभी तक हमें जहाँ तक लगता है कि सीरियसनेस इफेक्ट नहीं होती, सिर्फ फैलती है तेजी से. लेकिन ये भी लीजिए कि बहुत कुछ फैल गया तो ICUs भरेंगे तो नुकसान होगा.
The first phase dry run for COVID-19 vaccination drive concluded in 4 states on Tuesday. The drill was conducted in the states of Assam, Andhra Pradesh, Punjab and Gujarat on the 28th and 29th of December. The exercise tested the planning and preparation stages of COVID-19 vaccination process. It included creation of facilities and users on CoWIN application, session site creation and mapping of sites, healthcare workers' data upload, and receipt of vaccines, among others. It also aimed at providing insights into gaps or bottlenecks during the actual conduct of the vaccination drive. Specific teams were formed for various tasks by the district administration, and activities like uploading of dummy beneficiaries' data, session site creation, vaccine allocation, vaccination details, among others, were also carried out. Field feedback of the first day of dry run was reviewed on Tuesday by Health Joint Secretary. The government said that the insights obtained from the process will help enrich the operational guidelines and also strengthen the COVID-19 vaccination rollout plan. And let's now take a look at the COVID-19 situation in the country. India continued to see a decline in new cases, reporting less than 16,500 cases on Tuesday. The nationwide tally has now risen to over 10.2 million. Active coronavirus cases fell below 268,000, accounting for only 2.63% of the total positive cases in the country. With 24,900 new recoveries in the same period, India continues to report more daily recoveries than the daily new cases of COVID-19. The total number of recoveries in the country have crossed 98 lakh. The national recovery rate has further improved to 95.92%. Also, with 252 new deaths reported in the last 24 hours, the total death toll in India stands at 1,48,153. The COVID-19 case fatality rate in India stands at 1.45%. Talking about the tests, the total tests in the country have crossed 16.98 crore, with over 9,83,000 tests conducted in just the past 24 hours. Among states, Kerala continues to report the maximum daily new cases. Although a decline in the number of new cases compared to the past few days, it reported 3,047 new cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. Maharashtra had 2,498 new cases, while the state of Chhattisgarh reported 1,188 new cases of COVID-19. Maharashtra saw the maximum casualties at 50. West Bengal had a fatality count of 27, while Chhattisgarh reported 26 new deaths. And before we leave, we once again appeal and urge all our viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash hands and face regularly, and continue to maintain physical distancing whenever you step outside. Remember, these are very simple precautions from your end that may help you defeat the pandemic. Good night, and thank you very much for your time.
News.